Hey YouTube. I know in the last video I said I'd be posting again within the next 2 to 3 weeks from when that was released, but as you can tell, it's been a little longer than that. So, to my vast array of eagerly awaiting fans, I am greatly sorry. Things just came up, which got in the way. And of course the holidays didn't really help with that. Not that anything bad happened, of course, just couldn't really make videos for a while. But now that I am here, I'm happy to recontinue my devlog with the second proper installment in the series. But secondly, before we start that again, you can probably notice that there's been a change of environment. I'm trying out new things to see what I feel works out the best, and currently we're going to be running with this new avatar and changing out the background gameplay for a more neutral background. Anyways, that's enough with intros, let's get into the actual devlog now. For this series of changes, I wanted to focus on messing around with animations for the player. I had a set of ideas of how I want the player to sort of control and feel, and the ideas that I had really couldn't be accomplished with the method I was using previously to control animations. Before, I was using a single animator to control all of the animations for the player, which typically works just fine. I have a set of sprites that the player can appear as, and the animator just runs through them in the order that I choose to create smooth and specific animations. However, I had this very specific idea where I want the player to be able to attack while moving. Since my end goal for the game is the combat's going to be very fast-paced and reaction-based on seeing enemies' actions coming up, I want the player to be able to have full control of their character whether or not they're attacking. This really wasn't able to be accomplished with one animator, and I will go ahead and show you why now. For the player to be able to attack while moving, while standing still, while moving backwards, I would need to be able to have the swing animation play smoothly alongside the running animations. And I don't want to reset the run animation while attacking, because that would be very janky, and it would just overall not work. The other option would be to make so many different sprites, where every different sprite of the swing animation mixed with every single sprite of standing still, walking forward, and walking back, which also just isn't very clean, and is really better just going a different option. And I chose to do that different option, where instead of having one animator, I have two animators. And I split the player model into two different sprites. And I'll need to turn this back on. You can see top sprite and bottom sprite are two different things. And basically, when I have two animators, I can have the bottom one playing a run animation, or a backwards animation, and while that one's doing that, I can have the top one doing attacks, or I can have the top one running to match the bottom one. And now, certain combos can look a little jank still with this method, but that jank is more so on my part of not connecting them as properly, rather than it just being not efficient to make all the sprites for a single animator. Now I'll go ahead and go into the actual game to show how these changes look in practice. And while I'm in here, you will also see that I made a quick other change in the form of adding some health bars. They're very simple health bars. Top one obviously showing enemy, bottom one showing your health. As you can see, currently the animations look pretty decent. I can attack while moving, which is exactly what I was hoping for, and I think that works really well. I also added aerial attacks and a idle animation. I'll go ahead and also show that the health bars work as intended. You can see player can damage enemy, enemy can damage you. This was very easy to implement as I had already set up everything properly for hits previously, and I just had to connect them to health bars. I have not yet implemented a feature for what happens when the health bar depletes. That will be a later devlog project. For now, I just wanted to prove that I could throw them together. Before we wrap up this devlog, I'll go ahead and show off the sprite sets I made for these to sort of give an idea of how much art is required to fully throw together these animations, and also to sort of give an idea of what it would look like if I tried to do the idea of doing it all with one animator. Because looking at these, this took a decent amount of time to draw out, and if I did it with one animator, where I needed a lot more sprites, this would be 3-4 times as big. So as you can see, it's definitely more than a preference to which method I chose. Anyways, wrapping up now. I know this was a much shorter devlog than the last one, and that's for a couple of reasons. First of all, as I said previously, I've been able to do much work over the last couple weeks, so I wasn't able to get as much done as I was for the last video. And secondly, I think I want to actually move towards shorter term videos anyway. I want to both see how they do, and I want to be able to output more over the same amount of time. It'd be less stressful to make and not as time consuming. Now, that is all the content for this devlog. However, I do want to quickly go over my ideas for what I will be implementing and what you can hope to see in the next video. First of all, I do want to play around more with those health bars. Make it so that whenever they deplete, you die or the boss dies, dependent on which one is emptied. After that's done, I think I might mess around with the enemy having different attacks based on what health they're at, or altering their AI based on their health, make them more aggressive at lower health. After that, I believe I will be basically done with the boss AI. I might add pop-ups to show like where the boss is moving or where it's jumping to. Besides that, once all that is done, I think I'm ready to start working elsewhere in the project. Anyways, that's all from me. Thank you everyone for showing interest in my project, and see you next time.